Welcome to Terminating a Farm Lease, another offering in a series of Loranda instructional videos. My name is John Moss, and today I'm going to discuss why and how farm leases are terminated. For many landowners with long-term tenants, this process can be extremely emotional, as they are concerned that the farmer will be upset, if not insulted. In reality, though, most terminations aren't a reflection of how well the tenant has cared for the farm. Instead, it's an indication that the landlord's goals for the property have changed. This shift may be driven by the desire for a new lease arrangement or by the need to sell the farm. Regardless, the first step to achieving these goals is by properly terminating the current lease. This is a legal requirement, and without it, the lease will likely renew for another year with the exact terms and provisions of the existing arrangement. Keep in mind that each state has its own set of laws on how to address this issue, and if termination does not follow the exact rules established in the statute, it's as if it was never done at all. Fortunately, the process is not that difficult, and following are some suggestions to ensure that you do comply with the regulations. Number 1, read your current lease document and determine if you even need to send a termination notice. Most written leases automatically expire at the end of the crop year, and if so, this language is included in the agreement. If you don't see this provision, or if you only have an oral lease, then you will need to send a proper written notice. Number 2, determine what the notification procedures are in your state. One of the quickest ways to learn about lease termination is by Googling it. Simply type in the name of your state, followed by farm lease termination. You will quickly have several sites to choose from that can not only give you the regulations, but also an example of how the notice is to be worded. Consulting with your attorney during this process may also be warranted. Number 3, prepare and send the notice exactly how your state law dictates. This step is the most important, but often the most overlooked. Simply calling or sending a handwritten note to your tenant is not sufficient. The timing, wording, and delivery requirements for the notice must be strictly followed. If not, then accept the fact that the terms for next year's lease will likely be the same as those you are bound to for this cropping season. As production agriculture has evolved, driven most recently by modern farming practices and unpredictable grain prices, the need to regularly review and possibly change your farm lease has become important. Whether you are looking to sell your property or simply need to evaluate the lease terms for fairness, a landowner should know the laws that govern when and how changes can be made. Before leaving you today, I want to reiterate a couple of points. First, terminating a farm lease at the end of each crop year is common practice today. It's likely that your tenant receives this notice from other landlords, so he or she will not be offended when you send it. They understand that in many cases, it's the lease that needs to be updated, not the tenant. Second, even though, as a courtesy, you may want to notify the farmer of your intentions in advance of sending the termination notice, you still must follow the exact rules prescribed by the law in the state where your farm is located. Third, don't let the fear that your land will sit idle if your tenant does become upset affect your goal to terminate. Farmland is unique within the real estate asset class in that there is always a pool of quality farmers willing to rent your land. And finally, the financial risk for not properly terminating can be substantial, either in terms of lost revenue from an existing lease or from a lower price when selling, as nearly all land buyers want the opportunity to select their own tenant. Thanks for joining us again today, and I hope you now have a better understanding of farm lease terminations.